If you don't fix yourself now, 2025 will fix you. And trust me, it won't be gentle. Life doesn't knock. It breaks the door down. You think you've got time? Time is bleeding. Every scroll, every toxic relationship, every excuse, it's draining your future. You don't need a man. You don't need a miracle. You need a mirror. Look into it and say this out loud: I refuse to be average. Because honey, being broken is not your identity. It's your invitation to rise. Your pain is not your personality. Read that again slowly. Because somewhere along the way, you started introducing yourself with your wounds. I'm the girl who was cheated on. I'm the guy who grew up poor. I'm the one who's always overlooked. You began where you're suffering like a name tag. But pain is not who you are. It's just where you've been. People will break your heart. Life will knock the wind out of you. You will be lied to, betrayed, abandoned, used, forgotten, and maybe even replaced. But that's not your identity. That's your experience. And there's a massive difference. Imagine someone walking into a burning building and saying, I guess I'm fire now. No, you're not the fire. You're the survivor. You're the one walking out of it, scarred maybe, but still breathing, still rising. A girl once told me, after what he did to me, I don't think I'll ever be the same. And I looked at her and said, good. That version of you needed to die. Because sometimes heartbreak doesn't break you, it reveals you. You were never meant to stay that broken version. You're supposed to evolve. Pain is not a personality trait, it's a season. Don't build a home in a season meant to pass. You failed an exam, that doesn't make you a failure. You got rejected by someone you loved, that doesn't make you unlovable. You didn't get the job, the call, the apology, the closure, that doesn't define your worth. Think about your phone. If it crashes, you don't throw it out. You reset it, reboot it, update the system. You don't say, this phone crashed once, so now it's a broken phone forever. But that's exactly what you do with yourself. You treat your heartbreak like it's your whole identity. You introduce yourself as your past. You keep replaying scenes that no longer deserve your energy. A girl gets cheated on, and suddenly she starts believing all men are trash. A guy gets ghosted, and now he thinks he's amazingly attractive. A girl gets ghosted, and now he thinks he's not good enough. One loss, and the whole system crashes. Why? Because we've been taught to feel deeply, but not taught how to heal deeply. Let me tell you something dangerous and beautiful. Your pain is valid, but it's not permanent. Your suffering is real, but it's not the full story. You are more than what happened to you. You are the comeback, not the setback. You are the strength that rose from chaos, not the chaos itself. That anxiety attack you had last week, that's not who you are. That's something you experienced. That time you had to fake a smile at dinner while you were breaking inside, that's not your identity. That's your endurance. People love to box you into your trauma. They'll say, oh, she's the one with daddy issues. Or he's been through a lot, so he's just like that. Don't let their low understanding of your high potential define you. Don't let temporary storms convince you that you are a storm. A woman who cried herself to sleep for 3 months can still build an empire. A man who once begged someone to stay can still learn to walk away with dignity. You want to truly win in life? Then stop introducing yourself with your wounds. Start showing up with your healing. Say, yeah, that happened, but I'm not that anymore. Let people be confused by your growth. Let them try to recognize you and fail. Let your glow up be so loud it drowns out your old pain. You are not the heartbreak. You are the healing. You are not the mistake. You are the wisdom. You are not the scar. You are the skin that grew stronger over it. The next time someone tries to remind you of your pain, smile and say, "Thank you. That was the chapter that made me the author of my strength." Healing is your responsibility, not anyone else's. Let that sink in. Not your mother's job, not your ex's apology, not your friend's reassurance. It's on you. And that truth might sting at first, but it will set you free. Because the moment you take full ownership of your pain, you also take full power to transform it. Blaming others keeps you chained to the story. Owning it puts the pen back in your hand. Think about it. You break a leg, and sure, the person who pushed you might be responsible for the injury. But are they going to do your rehab for you? Will they feel the ache when you try to walk again? No. That's on you. Emotionally, it's the same. They hurt you, but they can't heal you. That's your mountain. That's your medicine. And no one else can take it for you. I remember a woman who was abandoned by the love of her life. He just left her, no warning, no goodbye. For years, she waited for closure. She needed him to explain. She thought healing would begin when he said, "I'm sorry." But he never did. And guess what? She stayed stuck. Until one day she realized, I'm letting a man who walked away control the rest of my story. That day, she chose to heal without the apology. And that was the most powerful thing she ever did. You see, healing doesn't need permission, it needs decision. It needs a moment of truth where you look in the mirror and say, yes, they hurt me. If someone stabbed you, would you wait for them to come back and remove the knife? No, you'd take it out yourself. You'd stop the bleeding. That's healing. And it's ugly, lonely, quiet work. But it's yours. Too often we wait for people to fix what they broke. We want them to feel our pain, acknowledge our tears, and say all the right things. But sometimes they're not sorry. Sometimes they don't care. Sometimes they've moved on while you're still bleeding. And every day you wait for them, you delay your healing. You become addicted to the hurt. You replay the scene, hoping for a different ending. But the ending isn't in their hands. It's in yours. A man loses his job and blames the boss. He spirals, depressed, angry, bitter. Every conversation he brings up the injustice, but 5 years later he's still stuck, still blaming. Another man loses his job the same way. He spends 2 weeks angry, then 2 months learning, and then he builds a business out of that pain. Both were hurt, one healed. The difference? Responsibility. Don't confuse healing with pretending. Healing is not plastering a smile on your face while you're dying inside. Healing is feeling every ounce of that pain and still choosing not to be defined by it. It's crying when you need to, but not drowning in the tears. It's setting boundaries even when it feels cold. It's saying, no, I don't have to explain my growth to people who only knew me in pieces. It's not fair what happened to you. You didn't deserve the betrayal, the abuse, the heartbreak, the neglect. But now that it's done, what are you going to do about it? Carry it like it's your identity, or heal it like it's your mission? You don't need a therapist to validate you before you start healing. You don't need that friend to check on you every day. You don't need a support group to tell you you're allowed to feel. You are allowed, period. You are powerful enough to sit with your own pain and say, I will rise. Not because they helped me, but because I helped myself. Healing isn't beautiful in the beginning. It's raw, it's messy. It's mornings you can't get out of bed, nights you scream into pillows. But slowly it becomes strength. It becomes a silent kind of confidence. The kind that doesn't need revenge, attention, or explanations. The kind that glows. The kind that whispers, I don't need you to fix me. I already did. Look around you. Who's cheering for your dreams? And who's whispering doubts in your ear? Toxic people aren't always strangers on the street. They can be your own blood. When your sister mocks your ambition, or your cousin belittles your choices, it isn't loyalty. It's sabotage in a family package. You owe love to your family, not a lifetime subscription to their drama. Real love supports growth, not guilt trips that make you question your worth every time you speak up. Imagine a dinner table where every compliment is followed by a backhanded insult. Oh, you've changed your hair again. Interesting. You got that promotion? I guess they were desperate. First it's funny, then it's toxic. One night you laugh it off. The next night you lie awake wondering if you really deserve success. You start censoring yourself, parroting their opinions to keep the peace. But peace built on compromise is just a prison in disguise. I knew a woman who celebrated her engagement with her family. Instead of excitement, she got, "Are you sure he can support you?" And "Don't make the same mistake as Aunt Lisa." Each word cut deeper than any stranger ever could. Friends told her to ignore it, but she could. These were her people. She felt trapped, like she was climbing a mountain while someone kept yanking her rope. Finally, after months of self-doubt, she uninvited the naysayers from her bridal shower. The backlash was brutal. Slammed doors, silent treatments, dramatic texts. But when she walked into a room filled only with those who truly believed in her, she felt lighter than air. Family loyalty doesn't mean blind loyalty. It's not a chain, it's a choice. You choose who you let into your inner circle. If a sibling uses your vulnerability as ammunition, that's emotional warfare. If a parent dims your shine to make themselves look brighter, that's betrayal. Do you protect your mental health by pretending everything is fine? Or do you protect your future by cutting the cord on toxic ties? Because here's the thing. You can't grow flowers in contaminated soil. At work, we'd all kill to have a supportive team. So why is it acceptable to settle for emotional vampires at home? That cousin who only calls when she wants a favor isn't family. She's a user. That uncle who lectures you on your dating life while ignoring his own mistakes isn't giving advice. He's projecting. Picture yourself as a CEO of your life. Would you keep investors who keep questioning your vision? Would you let employees who undermine your leadership remain on your payroll? No. So why keep these toxic relatives on your personal board of directors? One man realized this after his brother's constant put-downs about his art. Every sketch he shared was met with, "You call that art? Get a real job." He started hiding his paintings, shrinking into a grayscale version of himself. It wasn't until he stopped inviting his brother to gallery openings that he rediscovered his canvas. The absence of that toxic voice was the loudest applause he'd ever heard. Cutting a fake circle doesn't mean hatred or revenge. It means self-respect, clarity and peace. It means surrounding yourself with people who celebrate your sunrise and catch you when you trip, without using your fall as fuel for gossip. It means creating your own chosen family of believers, mentors and champions. Some will say you're being dramatic, ungrateful or disloyal. Let them talk. Their words are wind. They blow away when you refuse to give them power. You are not a hostage to their expectations. You are the architect of your life, and you decide who gets a seat at your table. Discipline is sexier than drama. Read that again and let it echo in your soul. In a world addicted to chaos, gossip and emotional turbulence, the quiet, steady rhythm of self-control is the ultimate rebellion. While others are posting their arguments on social media for sympathy and attention, the disciplined one is building an empire behind the scenes. There's nothing more attractive than someone who chooses progress over petty fights, consistency over chaos, and silence over shouting matches. Look around you. Drama is everywhere. She ghosted him. He posted a cryptic quote. They unfollowed each other, and the whole internet is watching their breakdown like it's entertainment. But discipline? It doesn't shout. It doesn't need an audience. It works in silence, and its results are too loud to be ignored. You know what's sexier than revenge posts? Waking up at 5 a.m. to work on your body, your mind, your business, without anyone watching. That quiet grind that no one claps for, until the world can't help but notice. There was a man I met once who had every reason to drown in drama. Divorced, betrayed, humiliated publicly. Instead of reacting, he moved in silence. While his ex-partner aired dirty laundry online, he didn't even respond. Not out of weakness, but out of discipline. He knew where his energy was better spent. Building a legacy for his daughter, not trading insults. 2 years later, while she was still recycling bitterness, he was speaking at leadership summits, loved and respected. Because discipline never betrays you, it builds you. You want to glow up? It's not the lipstick or the car or the filtered selfies, it's your habits. It's choosing to go to the gym instead of stalking his new girl. It's staying in to build your brand instead of going out to show them you've moved on. You don't prove your worth by creating more noise. You prove it by elevating in silence. And when discipline becomes your aesthetic, you become untouchable. Drama is cheap. It's available to everyone. But discipline? That's rare. And rare is powerful. Drama seeks attention. Discipline demands respect. Imagine two women walk into a room. One is dressed in designer, but dripping in gossip. The other? Radiating confidence, calm, focus, no chaos in her eyes. That's discipline. That's magnetic. That's what people remember when they forget the rest. I knew a girl who was always in toxic situations, fights, breakups, friendships exploding every month. But one day, she deleted every distraction, cut off every energy vampire, and built a strict daily routine. She started reading, lifting weights, meditating. No more late night tears, no more chasing people who only liked her when she was broken. Within a year, she didn't even look like the same person. You want to change your life? Discipline is the real makeover. People say they want a partner with loyalty and maturity. But guess what those traits are built on? Discipline. The discipline to control your emotions, to walk away from temptation, to stay loyal even when no one's watching. If you want a high-value relationship, you've got to become a high-value person. And high-value people don't chase drama, they chase growth. Think of the most iconic legends. Do you think they got there by fighting with exes or clapping back at critics. No. They built routines, kept promises to themselves, and stayed consistent even when life slapped them with storms. That's the kind of sexy no Instagram filter can fake. That's the kind of glow no heartbreak can dim. You become radiant when you're grounded. You become irresistible when your peace is non-negotiable. Discipline is sexy because it speaks without noise. It's the soft power that builds hard results. It's the strength to walk away, not because you're weak, but because your time is expensive and your energy is sacred. When you stop craving drama and start craving evolution, your whole life begins to shift. Silence speaks louder than screaming, because real power doesn't perform, it prevails. In a world obsessed with having the last word, the boldest move is often saying nothing at all. It's not weakness. It's not defeat. Silence is a language only the healed can speak fluently. When someone disrespects you and you choose not to clap back, but walk away with grace, you are teaching them that your peace is more valuable than their chaos. That's the kind of strength people don't forget. Imagine a couple arguing in public. She's yelling, he's shouting louder, and everyone's watching their love unravel in real time. But then there's another woman. He cheated, lied, blamed her. She didn't post a quote. She didn't cry on social media. She simply left, blocked his number, packed her piece, started over. No drama, no breakdowns, just silence. And suddenly, the same man who thought she'd beg is now haunted by the emptiness her silence created. Because silence forces people to hear their own guilt echo back. Words can be manipulated. Screams can be misunderstood. But silence? Silence is precise. You can't misinterpret it. It leaves space for people to sit with their conscience. And for many, that's the loudest noise they'll ever hear. You don't need to raise your voice to prove your worth. You just need to raise your standards. And sometimes the silence between you and someone else is the sound of self-respect reclaiming its throne. I remember a woman who worked at a toxic office. Her boss constantly undermined her, took credit for her ideas, made snide remarks about her being too ambitious. Others fought back, stormed out, slammed doors. She didn't. She just started documenting everything. Kept her head down, did her job with excellence, never stooped to drama. 6 months later, she landed a job at a rival firm, double the salary. The day she resigned, her silence filled the office like thunder. Her boss didn't get a fight. He got a letter. She didn't burn bridges. She built her own. Sometimes the loudest scream isn't a scream at all. It's absence. When you stop responding to toxic texts, when you stop showing up for one-sided relationships, you stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you, your silence becomes a mirror they can't look away from. And when you learn to be comfortable in that silence, you unlock a version of yourself no noise can shake. There was a time I thought being silent meant being passive. But I learned silence is active. It's an act of choosing peace over performance, wisdom over ego. You don't need to explain to people why you outgrew them. You don't need to justify your healing to someone who never cared about your wounds. Sometimes, the most powerful sentence you'll ever say is the one you never speak. Think of the legends, the icons, the people who shifted the world, not through chaos, but through calm. They weren't loud, they were focused. When everyone else was talking, they were building. When others were screaming, they were strategizing. And when the moment was right, they let their work, their glow up, their peace speak for them. That's the volume of silence. That's the roar that doesn't need a mic. So next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, fire doesn't argue with fire. It burns everything down. But water? Water moves silently. But nothing can stand against it. Be like water. Be calm. Be still. Be unstoppable. Let your silence confuse their chaos. Let your peace be the protest they never saw coming. Because when your soul is unshaken, your silence becomes the storm. This year, be that woman. The one who walks into every room, not looking for validation, but radiating self-worth. The one who's not afraid to be too much, too bold, too loud with her truth. Be the woman who doesn't beg for a seat at anyone's table because she's building her own, one stone of self-respect at a time. Stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built for your power. This is the year you stop playing small to make others feel comfortable. Be the storm. Be the silence. Be the standard. She's not the woman scrolling through her ex's profile at 2 a.m. She's the one booking flights, chasing goals, and glowing in silence. She's the one who wakes up before sunrise, not because she has to, but because she wants to. There's something magical about a woman who's obsessed with becoming her best self. Not for anyone else, but because she finally realizes her worth doesn't have to be earned. It already exists. This year, become her. You know the one I'm talking about. She's the woman who doesn't chase love, she attracts it. Because her energy is rich, not in money, but in depth, in peace, in standards. And when someone doesn't meet those standards, she doesn't explain, she doesn't argue, she doesn't break, she simply exits. Be the kind of woman whose absence teaches more than her presence ever begged to. She's the woman who stopped comparing herself to filtered faces on Instagram, who stopped waiting for someone to pick her, because she picked herself. Be the one who claps for herself in the mirror after a long day. Be the one who invests in books, solitude, boundaries, and growth. When someone asks her, "Where have you been?" she replies, "Leveling up in silence." That's power. That's evolution. That's her. I once knew a girl who never said no. She bent, broke, sacrificed her joy for people who wouldn't cross a street for her. But one day she looked in the mirror, saw the emptiness in her own eyes, and said, "Enough." She unfollowed, unfriended, detached. She didn't scream. She didn't post quotes. She just got busy, building, healing, glowing. Today her life doesn't look anything like it did a year ago. Because when a woman finally chooses herself, the world shifts around her. Be the woman who knows her silence is more powerful than screaming. Her walk away more deadly than her comeback. You don't need revenge, you need results. You don't need approval, you need alignment. And you don't need a man to complete you, you need a mission to consume you. Be her. The woman who no longer seeks permission to shine. This year, be the woman who stops entertaining the bare minimum. The woman who raises her standards, not just in relationships, but in every corner of her life. Be the woman who doesn't break down every time life throws a storm. Be the woman who becomes the storm, calm, calculated, unshakable. The one who turns pain into power, tears into triumph, and rejection into redirection. She's not perfect, but she's aware, and awareness is everything. She knows where she's going, and she refuses to take people with her who only love her in her brokenness. She's not impressed by money, titles, or attention. She's impressed by peace, alignment, and respect. And if you can't bring that, you can't sit with her. Be that woman who knows how to heal herself, who cries in private but gets up in public like nothing ever touched her. The one who stopped begging and started believing. The one who walks away not because she's heartless, but because she finally realized her heart deserves peace more than it needs people. Be her. Not just for the world to see, but for your soul to feel. Be the woman who is no longer waiting to be saved, because she finally remembered she was the hero all along. You've heard it. You've felt it. Now it's time to live it. Because 2025 isn't waiting for anyone, and neither should you. You don't need more affirmations, more validation, more approval. What you need is activation. The real kind. The kind where your soul wakes up and says, I'm done living in the shadows of what could have been. I'm done replaying old chapters like they're going to rewrite the ending. You are not who they said you were. You are not what happened to you. You are what you decide to become. Starting now. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them leave. But don't let yourself down. Your future, built on who claps for you. It's built on what you choose to do when no one's clapping. There's no applause in becoming. Just grit. Just sweat. Just uncomfortable growth. But darling, that's where the magic is. That's where queens are crowned. Not in comfort zones, but in chaos conquered. You've cried behind closed doors. You've swallowed your screams. You've stood in mirrors wondering, will I ever feel like me again? But hear this. Your pain was never meant to imprison you. It was meant to prepare you. Those lonely nights, they were molding you. That heartbreak, it was redirecting you. Every no was life's way of saying, not here, not yet. There's better. And now, better is waiting. But only if you're bold enough to let go of familiar and walk into fearless.